Hello, welcome to the News Podcast Daily and following are today's top stories.
The Vietnam news agency VNA reaches an agreement with Xinhua on exchanging TV news in English. Japanese Dai Nippon Printing Group received license to build a $35 million factory in Bình Dương. The government issues a new resolution aiming to help ease the pressure on struggling businesses.
The Vietnam News Agency VNA and the Chinese National News Agencies Xinhua have agreed to cooperate in the field of television broadcast.
The agreement was reached between VNA General Director Nguyễn Đức Lợi and Xinhua leaders at the talks in Beijing on May 11th, during General Director Lợi visit to China from May 7th to 13th. Under the agreement, the two sides will provide each other with free television news in English on the development situation in each country, as well as regional and international situations of mutual concern. VNA and Xinhua will also increase the dissemination of information on each country and the country's relationship based on the two parties and state stands. Their common goal is to create a positive, accurate, and objective news current on bilateral ties, thus consolidating confidence and enhancing the two countries' traditional friendship, fostered by the leaders of their parties and states. The two agencies' leaders discussed ways to promote bilateral ties, especially new media forms. They affirmed that the signing of television cooperation agreement opened a new page in the relationship between VNA and Xinhua in multimedia. On the same day, the VNA delegation visited the offices of the China Daily, the organ of the Chinese Communist Party, where leaders of VNA and China Daily exchanged experiences in news production in the current context of booming digital information and future cooperative possibilities. The VNA delegation is on a week-long visit to China at the invitation of members of the Communist Party of China Central Committee and Xinhua President Li Chongqing.
The government has issued a new resolution aiming to help ease the pressure on struggling businesses. The package includes such measures as extending payment deadlines on several taxes and making it easier for businesses to access funds.
A 6-month extension for VAT payment for this year's second quarter has been granted to small and medium-sized businesses and those using large numbers of laborers in production and processing of agriculture, aquaculture, textiles, footwear, infrastructure, and electrical equipment. In addition, the government has also agreed a 9-month extension for corporate income tax, backdated to 2011 for firms classified in the above two categories and those involved in mechanics, waterway transportation, steel and cement production. The resolution also calls on the State Bank of Vietnam to implement resolutions for restructuring debts and other necessary steps to support businesses struggling to access loans. The government has also decided to reduce land rental payments in 2012 by 50% for businesses in commerce and services and allow a 12-month extension for investors of projects that are in financial difficulties. The resolution also sets out appropriate solutions to increase the rate of reimbursement of FDA and ODA and mobilize 2,000 billion Vietnamese dong, $95 million in additional funds to upgrade canyons and improve rural roads, as well as other infrastructure projects that would boost agricultural production, aquaculture, and the development of trade villages. According to statistics from the Ministry of Planning and Investment, by April 20th, at least 82,000 businesses had reported dissolved, 16,000 others had to halt operations.
A forum on opportunities for tourism, trade and investment in Vietnam took place in Malaysia's capital city of Kuala Lumpur on May 10th with the aim of stimulating cooperation in these fields between Vietnam and Malaysia.
More than 100 delegates from Malaysia's leading businesses and tourism companies and Vietnam's travel agencies attended the forum. The event was co-organized by the Vietnamese Embassy and the Vietnam Airlines office in Malaysia. Addressing the forum, Vietnamese ambassador to Malaysia Nguyễn Hồng Thảo said, Bilateral ties in trade, tourism, and investment continue to show positive growth, but did not yet correspond to the two countries' potential and aspirations. He expressed hope that the forum would help increase the number of tourists between the two countries, as well as boost two-way trade to raise turnover to $10 billion. In 2011, two-way trade reached $6.66 billion, in which Vietnam's export turnover to Malaysia achieved $2.76 billion. The forum was followed by a performance of Vietnamese traditional music.
The People's Committee of Hanoi on May 11th hosted a seminar on how to promote trade and investment between the city and the Russian capital of Moscow.
Two-way trade between Vietnam and Russia saw good growth in the first 3 months of the year, reaching $519.6 million, a year-on-year rise of 20.22%. The two countries have set a target of $3 billion for bilateral trade this year. However, Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Hoàng Quốc Vượng said, Vietnam's export businesses still face many obstacles in the Russian market, such as tariff and non-tariff barriers, especially for farm and seafood products. Therefore, the two governments encourage localities to play a more active role in trade promotion, with the two capital cities playing a leading role. At the seminar, participants were briefed about the Hanoi-Moscow Trade and Culture Center complex in Moscow. This is a $200 million cooperation project between the two cities, which will be an ideal location for Vietnamese companies and businesses to establish representative offices and showrooms.
The retail sector is facing serious difficulties that forced 5,200 businesses to dissolve or halt operation in the first 4 months of this year. Solutions to the situation were discussed at a seminar in Ho Chi Minh City on May 11th.
Despite a high increase in retail and service turnover in the review period, real profit was inconsiderable due to rising input prices and transportation costs, while purchasing power dropped. Representatives of the Association of Vietnam Retailers advised retailers to conduct research on market and consumers' tastes in order to map out suitable marketing and product strategies. Shifting to modern retailing models and application of advanced technologies in business is recommended. They also urged the businesses to take an open-minded view on merging or partnership in order to survive the crisis.
The July Chuanghai port, with a capacity of 1.6 million tons of goods per year, was inaugurated in the central province of Khánh Hòa on May 11.
The port has a total investment of $345 billion, consisting of a 300-meter wharf, a storage area, and a bond warehouse. With a depth of 7.4 meters, the port can receive 100,000-ton ships and provide a safe shelter for ships in storm season. Once put into operation, the port will create 200 jobs for local workers. The port will serve the National Multipurpose Mechanical Engineering Zone, while supplying logistics services for companies and factories operating in the locality.
The southern province of Bình Dương on May 11th granted an investment license to the Japanese Dai Nippon Printing (DNP) Group, which specializes in producing and trading printing and packaging machinery and equipment.
The group will build a factory at Mỹ Phước 3 Industrial Zone in Bình Dương to produce film templates for the packaging industry, with total investment capital of $35 million in the first phase. Japan has so far invested in 167 projects, worth a total $3.5 billion, ranking first among 35 countries and territories investing in Bình Dương province. Bình Dương led the country in attracting foreign direct investment (FDI) in the first 4 months, with $1.6 billion, accounting for 37.2% of the country's total FDI. The Bình Dương Tokyo Urban Residential Area project is the largest project in the locality, with total registered capital of $1.2 billion.
This is the end of the news today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.